Singapore government and the Malaysia government, our long-standing relationship is crazy. You know, is really solid. That one number one.
Okay.
And by the side, the Johor, what is that?
Oh no.
Wrong. Burp. I thought you like Singapore. I thought
No, regardless of that, Singapore and the Singaporean doesn't matter who is ruling. I mean, it matters who is ruling us. But you know, Singaporean. So okay lah, can lah Singaporean. Singapore. Merdeka.
If you stay Singapore, you are the lucky person.
Yes.
Okay.
Tarkal.
I am Daddy Vibes.
I am Baby Q.
And we are
Cookie Max.
Second lah.
Oh, you go to future already,
Then he, abang. I said, bro. I said, that's right, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bloomberg New Economy Forum. This is your speaker, Daddy Vibes, and we have here a panel of economists. We have a BBQ.
Yes.
Welcome to Singapore, BBQ.
Thank you. I like to eat economy rice.
Okay, same here.
Yes, that's why I'm an economist.
Okay, so I like to analyze. So I'm an analyst.
Analyst.
Welcome back to the second part of the podcast.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
Okay lah, we don't want to be too
Technical lah.
stressful.
Yeah lah.
Stress out. What the
Yes.
fuck stressful? Yeah, we don't want to be a stress out podcast.
No. I mean, there are already other podcasts out there talking about
Election season.
Yeah, as in they talk seriously lah, like serious topics and all, and we don't have to follow suit lah. You know, we do it in our way, in our style.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if there is something that could be changed by, okay, let's have a BBQ party. Not party, birthday party, but let's say BBQ is a candidate
Okay.
and he has his own party lah. What would you do to reform, and what would you do to win the voters' hearts?
You're asking this from a guy who knows almost nothing about politics.
Yeah, what it's like basic changes lah. Like, because you see when they talk about elections, the first thing they want to touch base is usually like inside the heartlands, like what needs to be changed. I saw like suggestions in Sengkang. They want to erect near the traffic light. They want to erect what is it? Canopy.
Oh,
So
shelter.
people, that one was from the opposition lah.
Okay.
Sheltered canopy, it's a retractable one. You know, like the gazebo, like the Decathlon kind.
Oh.
That's one of the
For what? During rainy season, the kind
Hot
of stuff?
sun.
Hot sun. Oh, okay.
okay lah. But when you implement that, of course, number one, budget lah. Number two, also, what do you call it? Because it disturbs the current infrastructure of the traffic lights. So people can argue that the motorists cannot see the traffic light if you erect something like that. But yeah lah, I'm sure there are workarounds like that. That's just an example of what can be done in heartlands.
Okay.
So
For me, I don't know. I just feel like I don't see. This is my personal opinion.
any
I feel
changes
like,
or don't want to change at all?
No, not it. No. Okay, you know, anywhere for anything, changes are constant. You have to keep changing. No, I'm not just in like in a political sense or a governmental sense or anything. Change is constant. So you have to keep changing. Like, you have to keep evolving. Not one thing will work throughout the rest of the time.
Okay.
You know, that kind of thing. So that's the thing. I feel that one of the things that I don't see personally is our ministers or our NPs or NMPs walking on the ground. At least
so
from
this is
my
during
personal perspective.
after election or
That's the thing. It should not be after election or before election or during election. It has to be constant. You have to constantly walk around. You know, and also another thing, like there are a lot of simple issues, that you know you can actually just solve.
Okay lah, maybe the people you are referring to in your constituency never reach your block lah, technically. But
Yes.
sorry to say lah, mine actually did lah.
Okay.
Although okay, not supposed to add in any of my personal feelings, but yeah,
No, but it's the truth, right?
mine did.
So it's the truth lah. So okay, that's the thing. Certain parts they reach out, certain parts they don't. If you are a political party as a whole, you're supposed to work together as a whole. That is my personal opinion. And like, you know, for example, like a lot of things like let's just give a very small example lah. Like around my area, there's this old auntie lah. At 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Okay, she's I think she's mentally unstable or what lah. You can hear her shouting very loud in Mandarin, and I don't know who she's talking to because nobody responds to her shouts and her screams, but she's constantly shouting. You just imagine, bro, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Okay, and I'm sure there are kids, you know, in the neighborhood. I'm sure there are babies in the neighborhood. I'm sure there are other older people in the neighborhood who need to sleep. 3 a.m. you hear all this shouting, and then on top of that,
so what you want the government to do?
No, that's the thing. When people go and complain, try to work out something. I'm sure a lot of the residents around my area would have brought up the complaint. But it has never been resolved. And this has been going on since I moved here.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean? And it's been like a solid 7 years. From the beginning until now, almost every single day, I hear her screaming and shouting at 3 a.m. And it's not the kind of shout that you can ignore. No? It's the kind of shout that will wake you up from your sleep. You get what I mean? So these kind of things, 7 years you cannot solve, man.
You know, like certain things, I'm not saying anything lah, but it can, if they want to, it can be classified as domestic.
Correct.
Internal affairs. So meaning
Correct.
you settle yourself lah.
How to settle?
So usually, right, like this kind of case, right, is people move out. But okay,
so for that one
I stop you
person,
there. Wait, I stop you there. I know you gotta say something, so I stop you first. So okay, number one, because it's in between the fence. You can classify it as domestic, which if you call the police, the closest lah, right? You call the police will be activated. They come. What they can do is they ask you to settle yourself, because domestic. Number two, they can step in, but to only alleviate the pain.
Why can't they just classify it as public nuisance?
Number one, it's done inside the fella's house.
Outside also have. Downstairs under the block, bro. 3 a.m. She has been dragging her squeaky trolley, and her squeaky trolley is super squeaky, super loud.
So all it needs, right? Because it's 2025, just need a recording of the video, post it. Nobody does that. Because you see, now
how does that help? How does that help?
Because when it goes viral, like, then only people will what do you call it? Act on it. Because when they are under pressure, whoever they is, because nobody knows where you stay, so
true.
So when they are under pressure, then they will act on it. They have no choice but to act on it.
I don't know. I just feel like
but yeah lah, this now you see whatever problems people are facing, it will not be act upon hurriedly. Is that such a word? But
yeah, that is.
Like it won't be escalated in a timely manner lah.
Okay.
Unless like there's an urgency to it lah. So if your face value is at stake, you know, as the managing agent, or as the let's say I still condo managing agent lah, right? As the managing agent, then they will act on it lah. Or the town council, then they will act on it lah. Because there's pressure. But if there's no pressure, then like it's a because at the end of the day, they are also salaried employees.
True lah, but like
Mm.
I said, 7 years already, and
Mm.
you cannot, and nothing has been
But
done about
example, like, if you vote for the let's say you vote for a change
this.
in your area, in that area, that block. If you vote, then you change, then still the same, then what? Then who you want to blame?
I would blame the system as a whole lah. Basically,
lah.
you cannot blame each individual parties.
Correct.
Then you have to blame the system as a whole lah.
Mm-mm.
But I believe,
Merdeka!
what was the famous speech?
Hey, horror. He never talk like that. What the fuck?
Okay.
He must have the iron fist in him.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah lah. So I mean, yeah. At the very
Mm-mm.
best is you can expect, you can hope, you can be hopeful lah. That's the thing. When you vote for a change, and you know, like, things are not done, then you will start to reevaluate your decisions.
Your vote is secret.
Yes. But is it really though?
Is it sacred?
To me, it's sacred lah.
Oh, yeah. The election season. I saw a lot of comments. Like, to whoever lah, right? I'm sorry, sir. I won't be able to vote for you. I am on holiday.
Oh. Okay. Talking about that, if you go on holiday, you will be removed from the registrar of voters. Or
Yes.
so I heard. And I also heard for the next elections, if you want to vote, you have to pay $50 to get your name back into the.
Really?
Or at least that's what I heard lah. To get
To
your
the
name
registrar
back in, registrar of
need to
voters or
pay
something like that.
a certain amount. Okay, interesting.
Yes.
But yeah lah.
Have you ever been in a situation where you were not able to vote, or?
No.
Same lah. I've always, I mean, mainly because I don't travel anywhere, so.
But just a quick thinker lah. Like, when you are on holiday, can you actually go to the consulate or Singapore embassy of?
No, cannot.
Or you only can do that if you are based in there.
Yes.
But
the letter.
The letter? Oh,
yeah, the letter.
David Letterman. But technically, you are using Singapore's service. But okay, example, if you are, okay, let's say you go Nepal, you go Mount Everest. So let's say you get lost or whatever, then you find help. Or let's say there's war or what, you go to Singapore Embassy. What? You can,
correct.
As a tourist, you can go to Singapore Embassy. But to
Correct.
vote, cannot lah. Okay. I just purposely want to shake things up. Nothing.
This is what I know lah, and this is what I
This is what he
read
know
lah.
lah.
Yes. So yeah.
Sometimes it's beyond us lah.
Correct.
But,
correct.
Yeah. Still content. Yeah. Such a long sigh.
Yeah. No lah, the sigh is there is because, like I said, at the end of the day, regardless of who you vote for, the only thing you can do is you hope for better changes in your constituency lah. That is what I can say. And you know sometimes the changes may be small and you don't really notice immediately. You know, like after some time, then like, actually, no, things have gotten a bit better and stuff. And another thing I really how to say, I find it a bit funny or weird in a sense is that it's usually right before the election times that things tend to get done.
Oh yeah, one example. Like, this one we never plan but he say then like last time the older generation when they see all the foreign worker come paint the block. Oh ni undi dah nak datang. Election is coming. Yes, one of it lah.
Yes. Like for me, I kind of like had a gut feeling kind of told me that maybe election is coming.
But they never paint your block.
No, not painting my block. You see what they're doing outside the car park.
But
that one.
I think will not finish.
It will definitely not
forever
finish
lah. Until year end
before the election season is over lah.
Yeah.
So when
I
they
think
started,
after also won't finish lah.
Yeah, correct. I don't think so. That's why I say when they started, I was like, maybe election coming. And then chun a couple of a few weeks later, like, oh, okay.
Okay, but have you ever given a thought, like, okay, there are like certain projects in the precinct, right? let's say like covered walkway project. Let's say
Lift
lift
upgrading.
upgrading. Okay, but what if halfway through then they change the government? So technically the paymaster example like we put XYZ town council. XYZ town council now doing the project. But if they lost, then it goes to ABC town council, ABC take over, then
Yeah, but government is the same what? It's
government
just
same,
like
but
it's just a
paying party
matter of
different, and the finances will be under different.
Okay, yeah. So if they stop, then wouldn't they be in a disadvantage for the next upcoming elections? Which I don't think they would want that to happen. So I'm sure by hook or by crook, they have to get it done and settled with lah.
Yeah, okay, you got a point.
Or it is possible that like maybe after the government changes and everything, still the old government has to upkeep their promise and complete the project lah. Or at least I'm sure it would have been written somewhere in contract form and stuff lah. So yeah, I've never heard cases of where they halfway stop and all those stuff lah. So I'm hoping that's not the case.
Okay. And if you were to ask me, right, I saw this podcast lah. Sometime back lah. So straight lah, I see lah. It's Zai Ismail's podcast lah. It's his own personal podcast, not the Plan B.
Oh, okay.
So that podcast is called
The podcast.
It's a called meme.
It's what?
Meme. Alif Batasa Jim.
Oh,
meme. Okay, so this he interviewed an opposition candidate. So they were actually discussing this thing, which is interesting. Let me just briefly talk about it. Okay, so for the longest time, the Malay community, the Malay Muslim community is not allowed to be in certain areas of the military. Which is interesting per se because one of the reasons given lah that hearsay lah, right, is okay, whatever narrative I'm saying is based on what I saw on the podcast and based on what I see on the comments and based on what the people are commenting things and also what I think. Okay, so people are commenting and they are saying based on hearsay is because number one, maybe because got no halal food. Example. So let's say lah, you want to become Navy or what, cannot lah because no halal food on board. But yeah lah. Okay lah. Even if you are on board the ship lah, right? Which I actually have first-hand experience lah. Like even if the food is not halal, right? Because you are technically musafir lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the babi don't eat lah. You can eat vegetarian all this what?
No, not just that lah. I have worked I've
on
done
board
on board before. I've done quite a handful of
babi
ship
makan,
assignments.
syok.
Not eat babi lah. Prawn, you can eat. They have
Yeah,
prawn.
other
they
things
have
lah.
fish. They have veggie. They have sausage.
Yeah.
I even eat the chicken. Although the chicken is not halal, but because you are traveling.
Yeah, like I say lah, musafir lah, traveler
so
lah.
You are allowed. You're permitted to eat.
Okay,
sustenance.
that one number one lah. They say no halal food. Number one.
Okay, so just because of that, because we're talking
This
about
is
halal food,
hearsay.
right? Correct.
Say.
If you have enough Muslims in Navy or
just build
commando or what, they can easily cater Muslim food. What?
Commando have Malay a lot.
So do they have Malay food, halal food?
Commando Bedok camp have lah.
So same lah.
Don't
Navy
have
also
Simpang Bedok outside ni. Bye.
So this kind of things actually can cater lah. So in my opinion, that is bullshit reason. Okay.
Yalah.
Second.
That's why I say hearsay. Okay. Second reason. What's the second reason? Shit. Yeah, I got lost in thoughts.
Sorry, I distracted you.
Second reason was also due to shit. I really lost it, bro. I forgot whatever I wanted to say. The reason why. Well, can you like recap
Something
whatever I just said?
like no halal food, no Malay food, musafir.
Okay. The second reason
Uh.
was if we were to come to this one I can say because it's our podcast. And I say if we were to have a war with Malaysia or Indonesia, will we, the Malay people, be able to shoot our enemy?
Okay.
Which in this case, if there's a war with Malaysia, then Malaysia our enemy lah. If Indonesia, Indonesia our enemy lah. Can we do that? Okay. Of course we say cannot lah. But in the first place,
Why cannot?
Huh?
Why as in like cannot shoot?
Yeah lah.
Why cannot?
Hard lah to shoot.
Why is it hard?
Because you see, we Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, we all got family ties somehow.
Correct.
And you never know lah.
Correct.
Okay, that one is you asking me as a Malay what?
Yeah lah.
So is it hard for me to shoot? Yes lah, of course hard lah.
Okay. No, but okay, for this
But
we
I also have a
to-
reason why.
Okay,
Okay,
you
say
say
first.
you see a reason.
Okay, I say first before I forget
Yes,
again.
Yes.
Thanks.
Getting old lah.
Okay. There is no way in hell that we are all gonna go into war. Number one, there are treaties in place. There are PACT in place. There are trade agreements in place. So there is no way in hell that Singapore is going to have a war with Malaysia. Singapore is going to have a war with Indonesia. The only time we have war is on the soccer field. That's all.
Okay.
So there is technically no way that there is going to be a war.
Okay.
Like no matter how, right, it will actually be resolved. Okay, number one, Singapore government and the Malaysia government, Singapore government, whoever the government is lah, can, even if the white is not in power anymore, right, which is funny, but it can happen. Like if it
Yes.
happens,
You may never know.
if it becomes other color,
Pink.
but it's still known as the Singapore government lah at the end of the day, right? Singapore government and the Malaysia government, our long-standing relationship is crazy. You know, it's really solid. That one number one.
Okay.
And by the side, the Johor, what is that?
Oh no.
Oh, wrong. Burp. I thought you like Singapore. I thought
No, regardless of that, Singapore and the Singaporean doesn't matter who is ruling. I mean, it matters who is ruling us. But you know, Singaporean. So okay lah, y'all can Singaporean. Singapore. Merdeka.
If you stay Singapore, you are the lucky person.
Yes.
Okay.
Tarkal.
Okay. Sorry. And by the side, just now I was talking about Singapore government and Malaysia government. But by the side, the Johor's king and the family, the Johor royal family, is also very close with Singapore government. So as and when the Singapore government will actually call over the TMJ or the king over, or vice versa, the Johor royal family also call the Singapore counterparts to come over. So by, you see, as a whole, Singapore and Malaysia as a country is already very tight. And apart from that, right, the out of Malaysia, Johor itself, the royal family is also very tight with Singapore. So actually there is no way in hell that there's gonna be a war lah. Okay, if lah, let's say lah, if let's say lah Malaysia sort if lah, I say if I don't anyhow cibai. If lah Malaysia sort then you think the Johor royal family will not stop Malaysia?
Of course will lah.
Of course will. Plus the Johor royal family got their own army so. Or vice versa lah. Or if the Johor royal family want to have a war with us, you think Malaysia as a whole will not stop them?
Will lah.
Will. So
Yes.
that, like I say, there's no way. Okay, but one of the reasons that I saw online they posted is because of our weapons. That's one of the reasons why Malairen 不可以亲戚
Sorry, can you
那个
please elaborate on the
Okay.
weapons part?
That's
I
what I
believe
heard lah.
I may know what you're going to say, but yeah, just to clarify. Just to clarify.
Yeah, so we're gonna finish this episode like this lah. So we actually have Singapore Army have long-standing relationship with Israel for our defense system, for our weaponry, for even like certain way that we operate is actually modeled after them. And our very first what do you call it? Our first few batches of the army, the trainers actually went there. If I'm not mistaken, or they come here and train lah. Something like that lah.
We went there.
You ah?
No, as in not we, as in we, as in
No.
our guys.
Yeah. So like that lah. So that's one of the reasons, maybe lah.
I mean, yeah, I have also.
But there is no official response yet until today.
Correct.
Like, okay,
To
let
confirm or
me
deny
finish up this shit lah, a bit lah before I forget. Yeah. So like the narrative, the podcast that I saw lah, Yuza, right? The narrative doesn't stand to today because of how we actually promoting harmonious living, how we actually recite the pledge, and it actually have a spillover effect to even after the ORD, right? After the people ORD, after when they go into the workforce, it's still like that. It has a spillover effect that the Malays cannot enter certain places lah for workplace. And you can never find Malays in certain places lah. Okay, although they actually put a senior minister of defense, like I say lah earlier in the first part, they put Zaki. But
I mean, you may never know.
You can say whatever you
Could
want to say.
just be for sort of like namesake or what. You may never know. I'm not saying it is that. It's just that sometimes you want to do things in a way where it makes you look good, where it makes you seem that you are inclusive. You're inclusive of a certain race or certain religion and that kind of thing, just to make yourself look good. I'm not saying that is what that is how our local politics or our government is. I'm just saying that things like this do happen. For your outlook, for the way you present yourself to the masses.
Okay, but although everything what I said is not much of a positive thing, one positive thing that I saw, right, is how we Singapore Malay Muslims have a ministry to look after Muslim affairs. Where else? Okay, I can say this because this is the government itself. They have www.muis.gov.sg. Whereas there's no SINDA. There's no the Chinese one.
No, but I thought they. Oh yeah, actually, no, they do, right? No, man?
Ministry, bro.
Oh, ministry. Okay,
that governs this.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is one thing like that they still kept from the past. So although there are differences and there are things that we cannot get into, somehow we are still protected.
Correct.
And did you know, I don't know whether you know or not, but if your IC is Malay or your birth cert put you as Malay, you go to school cheaper. You pay cheap until today. Not say and it's for primary school and above lah. The government schools. So like per semester people paying, I don't know, $20-30 over like primary school, right? We pay like very cheaper amount lah.
Okay, so I for the next part, okay, for the next part I have a rebuttal to your Muslims thingy, okay, and I also have something to say about the movies, the whatever this one lah thingy. So we will talk about that.
Yes.
So stay tuned for part 3.
Getting interesting.
Yes.
All things local, focal, and getting vocal. Think global, act local.
Okay lah.
BBQ Impacts Private Limited. Think local, act global.
I thought think global, act local, no?
Think global, act local. Timid. Okay, don't know lah, anything lah. Fuck it.
Okay.